Hello everyone. I know some people have been working on circles after the video that Kaboom and I had put together. I wanted to go ahead and cover some of the issues that some people are experiencing and show some of my workarounds for some of these. Some of them are just because that's the way the game is, or some of the issues just you can work around them. So what I'd like to do, usually I'd like to just put a piece of foundation down. For some reason, the vertical floor option works for me. I don't know why, it just seems to be more stable, but I'll put a small vertical floor like that on a piece of foundation. And then I like to use, I know some people use thrusters, I use these switch plates. And that's probably a little too far down, but we'll see. I take a floor and I use a 4x4. I'm using first order pieces right now. I like the filters because it makes it quick to get the various pieces. Alright, so so I got a floor piece here. It's a 4x4, and then put another 4x4 piece right on top of that. And I might just go ahead and put another one right behind it. This is just the setup that works for me. I'm going to use the swivel here. I'm going to nudge it right where it needs to be. I think that's centered above the foundation. Oh no, it's not. Alright, let's try that again. I'm gonna fly this time. If you have fly mode on, that makes it easy. If you don't, because you're doing it in expert or whatever, well then maybe a set of stairs wouldn't be a bad idea, just so you can get it centered if you're having trouble getting it centered. I'm gonna go ahead and throw these extra floor pieces on. I don't know why, it's just what I'm doing. But these floor pieces on their side seem to, for some reason, make the swivels work better. So I'm just making sure the whole swivel pretty much has got the floor pieces on its side underneath it. It doesn't make sense, but that's the way it is. I'm not gonna touch my swivel. I'm not going to jump on this rig until I am done, and I'm going to build it evenly, as evenly as possible, at least in the beginning. When I go to add balloons, I will make it a little bit different, but the balloons will be one of the last things that I add onto this rig. I'm just gonna call it a rig. I don't have a name for it really. And when you're doing a large rig, because you want to make a large circle, it can be a bit difficult because the rigs they go so fast. And I'm going to try to build these out as evenly as possible. Get the weight distributed the same on both sides. On my rigs, I like to have like, usually I'm making stargates with these, so I'm not usually making them this large. But let's say I want to make a big dome or something. Not a dome, an arena. Let's say I want to make an arena. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and now 4 of these 16 by 16s, which makes it 64 radius, 64 stud radius. And then I would snap to the end, but nudge it out, not one, but as far as I can go out is probably the best. For some reason, there seems to be an issue when you're trying to, of course, right there. There we go. There seems to be an issue when your rig is too close to a piece that you've already laid down, and the end of the rig is just too close, and it just kind of it feels like it just stops. It doesn't want to go, and it should continue on when it shouldn't, or it should continue on, but it's not, and it's a weird phenomenon. I think it's a hitbox issue. I really do. I don't know for sure that it is, but I think that it is. This is a very, very large setup. I'm gonna try this one first, and then I'll work with this one for a bit. So I may even make a small circle rig setup video, but I want to cover the yellow studs here. So we have the yellow studs on these swivels. I'm not going to put another swivel down. I already got one, but I want to show you the yellow studs. We got the 4 studs in the middle. We want to get as close to those 4 studs as possible when placing our balloons, but we can't put 2 balloons on the location where the yellow studs are below, because when one inflates, the other one's gonna pop. It's gonna pop the other one. It's just the way it is. So you have to have. You can't have more than. You have to have at least 1 stud space between your balloons. So I'm gonna put this one off to the side, right there. This one over here will be on one of the yellow studs, or above, technically, one of the yellow studs. And then I'm going to put a switch over here. Now this one I'm going to move over to channel 1. This one I'm going to move to channel 2, which is going to be my higher speed, because the further away you are from the center, which is right there, the further away you are from the center, the faster it's going to go. So when the balloon that's right there next to that center is on, it will go slower than the one on channel 2. So right now I just want to inflate channel 1, and now having both channels set up on that switch, now it will toggle them. I haven't touched this yet, so it should still be in place. The balloons aren't moving on its own, not yet, but they will if I move them out further, which I don't want to do. Alright, so another thing I want to cover real quick. I don't snap my pieces to where, like, I wouldn't try to snap and put in place that piece, because after you place a piece and the thing rotates, sometimes when you're trying to snap, you'll find it gets moved over somewhere, like way over here, and then you're placing pieces where you don't want them. I look at the board, and then I nudge out, and I want to get out as far away from the edge of this rig as possible. The reason being is the hitbox issue I was talking about earlier. So I'm going to stand here. I have weight, so I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of weight over here as a counterweight. Just going to stick it right there. I don't think the switches have weight. I think that they're weightless, essentially. The same with thrusters. But I'm going to go ahead and stand on here, and then it will start moving. I say that, and it's not moving. Okay. Well, it did move a little bit. It's not lined up like with the other one. So I might need to go. That was the faster balloon. Okay. The slower balloon is definitely not going to work on this big of a rig. So Wow, it's a strong balloon. This lag is something else. Alright, there we go. Alright, I'm going to get rid of that little mark. So move it over there and get rid of it. There we go. Alright, so we're going to try moving it to about there. And we're not moving. Move it all the way out there. Now you may have noticed when I put that balloon down, it lifted that side up and this side went down. That's going to put a little bit of a twist in our pieces. So we'll put another one on that side. We'll put it right there. Now we've got some rotation. Alright. It's a big rig. It's a lot of, yeah, it's a 64 stud radius, so that's a pretty good size radius. And now, okay, now we're going faster. Alright, so I'm going to try something here. So this one, I'm going to leave right where it is because it helps lift up this side, whereas this one is actually doing the rotation, and this balloon's helping fight that twisting that the other balloon's causing. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to snap and push out and place that there. Now I'm going to place, let's do a small 2x6, but I'm looking near the edge, pretty close to the edge, and I'm going to nudge it all the way out. And it's not going to go anywhere. It's just going to sit there because that's what swivels do. They make things difficult. Sometimes they're easy, sometimes they're hard. Sometimes you have to tear down your whole rig and just start over. That's just because the swivels seem to get defective. Okay, now it's moved on me. That's awesome. And that will happen too as you move up and down an arm of these rigs. They will move sometimes, like just going back and forth, like right here. This is doing it. Just to make it easier to see. Just going back and forth. And now you can see it's actually moving just from me moving back and forth that little bit. And that could be used to your advantage. Alright. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and start over on the build part out here, what I'm actually building. So let's get up out of bed, jump up on here. I'm not going to really need this switch right now. I'm going to basically treat this like a single balloon rig, because it's a single balloon rig is going to go in one direction, and this balloon is just countering the twist of this balloon, only because it's such a large rig. When you put the balloons just toward the very middle, you don't really get that twist as much. I'm not going to say it's not there at all, it's just, it is very minimal. Alright, now let's see if we can get a very large ring made. I'm out as far as I can. I click. Now I'm going to try to maintain my eye contact, my crosshair on that spot, and of course doing so, and it is gonna go off a little bit, so I have to re-nudge everything. Sometimes a little jump is enough. There we go. see that that piece is up a little bit higher. That's because swivels be swivels. Oh, it just moved too far over. Okay. Let's put this over here. That was channel 2. That was channel 2. That was going to be channel 1. Actually, I'm going to take that off the channel. So we're going to keep that one on. And we just want channel 2. Actually, we want channel 1 to turn off, so there we go. Hopefully it turns back around relatively quickly. Alright, run back and forth. And I can jump, fly, and that'll pause it. I'm wondering if I can get that on there now. Now it's in the, oh, it says need supporting piece, so I haven't quite got it far enough yet. Move it back a little further. Yeah, there we go. Switch and this back over here, nudge it out, just barely moving, and that will help you get this done. Almost there. There we go. All right. Not clicking. I'm clicking manually, but it's just not going. So sometimes just gotta give it a little bit more room. All right, so we got that one weird piece there. That's just gonna be there. So it is possible to get these very large builds to work. They just require a lot more patience. Sometimes less weight is a good thing. Sometimes more weight is a good thing. You just have to be willing to start all over if you have to on building the rig itself. Sometimes a swivel just goes bad, it seems, where it just only wants to go all twisted. But as you can see, like when I was just building these last 3 on here, I was going very slowly. I mean, it's so slow. Not quite there yet. There we go. You have to have patience, and for those that know me, patience is not what I always have. I I used to be a really impatient guy. I've gotten a lot better over the years. Okay, this is the main thing that I wanted to go over. Keep an eye on your rigs, because like when I added this balloon on the right side, I noticed it raised up that side and lowered the other side, so I'm putting the other balloon on the other side, leveled it out a little bit, but since this balloon on the right is further out, that's the one that's controlling the spin. So take your time. If you have questions, please leave comments below. Like the video if you don't mind. It just takes a second to like it. Helps build my channel. I'm just starting out, so I wasn't even sure what I was going to do with this channel, to be honest. I kind of cover various things in my channel if you look at my history. So if you want to see more content like this, definitely give it a like. That lets me know, lets the algorithm know what you're into. So if this is what you want more of, more content like this, like it, subscribe, that'd be awesome. Hope to see you guys later. Have a wonderful day.